Hi there, Parzival Tube here, and I am just super stoked. Okay, 12 seconds until this release. It's gonna be Meta Shakeup, Action Pack Challenge League. There's gonna be action in the league. Let's see this. This is the reaction to it. Reaction video. I went to the whole half an hour of everything, but oh boy, here it
Beware
comes.
what you ask, nomad. Curiosity is a charming trait until it is not. Information will be volunteered, not coerced.
Yeah.
It will create more questions than it answers. When at last their shadow is cast upon the firmament, it will take more than you can possess to bind and
Who's that guy?
silence the screams within your mind.
It looks so creepy. Looks so creepy. What's going on? I mean, I'd rather answer.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Thank you so much for joining us today as we unveil
Chris is
Path
the
of
man.
Exile's 3.13 expansion. This release contains everything you've come to expect from a Path of Exile expansion release. A new challenge league, new skills, new
Yeah, they've shown that
items,
before.
metagame rebalances, and an endgame content update which will leave a lasting impact on Path of
Meta
Exile.
rebalance or just nerfs?
Our team have been very hard at work over the last few months, and we've got a lot up our sleeves to share with you today.
Yes.
But before we jump in, we
Like
wanted
that
to mention
background.
that Twitch drops are enabled for the duration of this
Yes.
live stream.
Make sure you
Below
guys-
the stream, you'll find the instructions
guys
to
got
link your
these.
Path of Exile account to Twitch so that you're eligible to receive drops. 2020 was certainly a difficult year for development, but it was also one that saw a lot of big things happen with Path of Exile. In late 2019, we held our first ExileCon convention, where we
Dude,
announced several projects,
this is the
including Path of
dopest,
Exile
yeah.
2 and Path of Exile Mobile.
Yes, the loot.
Throughout
Yeah, looking forward to
2020,
that.
we developed 4 major expansions: Delirium, Harvest, and Heist, as well as the one we're going to unveil
got my
today.
own name for them.
We launched on the Epic Games Store
PvP
and released
mode.
our Vulkan renderer and a macOS client for Path of Exile.
They did so
We're really
much.
proud of what we achieved last year under difficult conditions and can't wait to continue the
Harvest
journey
Fight was
with
just a
you
mess.
through 2021, where we expect to reveal much more about Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile
And the
Mobile,
cat.
as well as
So
4
cute.
releases for Path of Exile, including the one you're about to see. Thanks again for being here with us. It wouldn't be possible without you.
Best community ever. Let's go, Chris.
In today's live stream, we'll kick
Yes,
things
just
off
get
with the 3.13 announcement trailer, then take a deep dive into exploring
what are
the
those
new
orbs?
expansion's content
That's
and
to be part
features.
of the new league. We know
Once
that.
the reveals are wrapped up, we'll launch into a live Q&A where community streamer
Announcements,
Ziggy D will ask me
content.
questions from Twitch chat,
Okay.
so be sure to get your questions ready.
I'm only going to be
Once the Q&A is
reacting
over, we'll be
through to the
jumping
new
into an
challenge
episode of
league.
the Bay Class podcast, where Taki
This is
Cat
a
and his
lot.
crew of Path of Exile veterans will discuss today's reveals. I'm sure you're keen for me to stop
Make sure to
talking
watch
and
the rest
start
of it, though.
revealing the
It'll be
new
on
content, so let's jump right into the 3.13 trailer. See you on the other side.
Yes, let's go. Oh, man. Traditional logo. Okay. All right.
What drives you, Exile?
That's a scary.
Is it justice,
Yes.
revenge, honor?
No.
No,
See?
it is power.
Of course, yeah. Loot.
We felt your deeds,
Like the Delph boss. But loot.
felt their shockwaves ripple through the void.
Yeah, we did a lot. There.
You have our attention.
Those are cool. Map boss?
Now you must keep it.
Bestiary?
Your limits will be tested.
Oh, yeah, it is map bosses.
Break them. Do what is thought impossible, and the Atlas will follow.
Oh my goodness. Atlas passive tree? Yeah. What, multiple passive trees? Not just the one. 11 new maps? Okay, very cool. Very cool. Oh, that looks like new skill. Oh, very cool. Oh, reworked Ascendancy. Finally. Harvest is back. Yep. OP. Eye system. Ritual League. Oh. It does look action packed. I thought it was like shrines. Yeah, that's the act boss again, though.
The stars themselves will bear silent
Music.
witness. How far will you bend before you break?
Absolute buster amp for new players, though. Oh my goodness, who is that? Oh my goodness. goodness, Echoes of the Atlas. Yeah, what the heck? That looks amazingly mystical. Holy crap, Echoes. Echoes of the Atlas. That's not a bad title. And now there's
That's
people.
one of my favorite Path of Exile trailers. We've released, like 35 trailers so far over the last decade, and I still get shivers watching each new one. Props to our video guy, Eben, for great work as usual.
Evan's the best. Evan.
So there's
Shout
a
out to
lot
you.
to cover based on what we've just seen. Let's get right into it.
Oh, we will. Yes, please, 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 please. That was an
In
absolute...
2016, we introduced the Atlas of Worlds, a formal progression system for Path of Exile's endgame maps that culminated in a pinnacle boss fight against the Shaper. Since then, the War for the Atlas and Conquest of the Atlas expansions have expanded the Atlas system, introduced new endgame bosses, broadened mechanics, added new rewards, and provided more opportunity for mastery of Path of Exile's endgame. The Echoes of the Atlas expansion introduces a new pinnacle boss, a new way to fight many map bosses at the same time, 11 new maps to explore, and new endgame rewards to earn.
But there's different passive trees.
Just a few map tiers into Echoes of the Atlas, you will begin to encounter an NPC called the Envoy.
Oh.
It seems that when the Elder
But
was
new players
sealed,
won't stop
its
it.
absence didn't go unnoticed. The Envoy speaks ominously of new visitors to the Atlas.
Oh, no.
The first such visitor, and the focus of this endgame expansion, is an entity called the Maven.
There's going to be more after this?
You'll first encounter the Maven in the boss arena of a map, where she will make the boss encounter more difficult and watch as you do your best to defeat it.
Light Shaper.
If you're successful, she'll give you her beacon, which lets you call her to any map in that region, so she can watch more fights.
Oh. Looks like what's going to start.
After showing her your boss-killing prowess, she will give you an invitation to her own realm, where she has prepared a special challenge.
Oh, nice. Multiple map bosses. Yeah, that's not going to be rippy at all.
The Maven really wants to push you to your limits and has fabricated copies of the bosses she watched you defeat. This time, however, you'll have to defeat them simultaneously.
Yep.
If you manage to best her challenge, she'll politely ask you to do the whole cycle again, except this time she wants to watch more and tougher fights, and her next challenge will contain 4 bosses, then 5, then 6, and finally 10.
I know. Oh my goodness. You need to get some sort of AoE skill or something, right?
If you're persistent and talented, you may even get to fight the Maven herself in a very difficult boss encounter designed to challenge the strongest and best Path of Exile players.
Oh no.
Completing the Maven's challenges offers the opportunity to acquire some very powerful new rewards, including Atlas passive skill points, craftable watchstones, and even the Maven's Orb.
Craftable. And a new orb, of course. What?
As you complete the Maven's challenges, you'll earn a new type of passive skill point that can be allocated on a special passive skill tree in that region of the Atlas of Worlds.
It's going to be so complicated.
Each of the Atlas's regions has its own passive tree, and they generally have around 20 nodes to choose from. You can earn up to a total of 10 skill points per Atlas region.
Wait, nani?
Let's check out some
Every
of the Atlas
region?
passive choices in the Glennick Cairns region. This branch allows you to focus on Beyond, increasing the amount of experience granted by Beyond monsters, but also allowing you to spawn more Beyond monsters really easily. The Torn Veil notable will drastically increase the quantity of Beyond demons you can encounter.
So they can choose which
The Legion
maps
branch has a notable
to get
passive
these
which
in.
increases the amount of time you have to break enemies
Legion
out
counters
and makes it easier to break them out.
Yeah.
It's an example of a skill that you could invest into while you're weak and then remove it later once you're more powerful. And yes, as I implied here, there is an orb that lets you refund Atlas passives. The Incursion branch allows you to more easily get higher tier rooms in the Temple of Atsuatl and helps you make a definitive decision on whether to swap specific rooms.
As their upgrade tier.
On the Ambush branch, the tamper-proof notable passive upgrades all strongboxes to be rare and corrupted.
Nobody cares, but...
This synergizes incredibly well with the Ambush Zana mod or Prophecies like Monstrous Treasure. While it prevents you from re-rolling valuable types of strongboxes, the sheer number of corrupted 6-socket and 6-link items will certainly be tempting.
True. Oh my. True.
Now let's have a look at the Atlas passive choices
Harvest
available in the
monsters.
Lex Proxima region.
100% experience?
The Harvest branch can increase your chances of finding a sacred grove, increase its crafting rewards, and make it more likely that you'll encounter a Shavi.
Double
We'll
bonuses.
explain later in the presentation about how
Item
Harvest
quantity
has
and
been
rarity?
integrated
It's
into
already
the core
possible
game
to
in this
dump
expansion.
a bunch of uniques.
The Torment
That's
branch can
crazy.
increase item
gonna
drops from
crash the game.
possessed and touched monsters, as well as populating the area with some already possessed monsters.
Oh, who cares about that?
These synergize quite well with the Sextants that guarantee a certain amount of rewards from possessed monsters.
Guaranteed possessed is interesting.
The Delve branch can increase your Soulfight gains, grant more Master Favor, and grant more Nico Master missions. The Sulfite Infusion notable passive grants Sulfite for defeating map bosses, regardless of whether the area has an eco present.
Not
This
every
means
map.
that you'll be constantly gaining Sulfite for
per
every map
region,
you do in a region, which is a great strategy if you're not already using Sulfite Scarabs aggressively. There are also breach passives, which increase your chances of encountering a breach and ramp up the difficulty and rewards of your breaches. Naturally, new endgame content means new endgame rewards. Watchstones are an endgame item that can be placed in the Atlas of Worlds to upgrade a region's map tiers and add new base maps to that region. There are two types of existing Watchstones.
I like how it's more wide.
Quest item ones that can upgrade a region and can't be traded between players, and unique Ivory Watchstones that provide special bonuses and can be traded. These unique ones are consumed after a number of maps are run. The Echoes of the Atlas expansion introduces 3 new types of craftable Watchstones: Titanium, Chromium, and Platinum.
Of course.
Like regular Watchstones, these never expire, but unlike regular Watchstones, they can be traded and crafted. They are found quite late in your progression through the Atlas.
Quite late, okay.
The eventual goal is that you replace all of your base quest item Watchstones with new craftable ones over time as you upgrade your Atlas. Each of these 3 types of new Watchstone has its own special mod pool, but there's also a shared mod pool that they all draw from.
Not a big
Like
deal.
flasks, they can only be normal or magic. You can't find or craft rare Watchstones. Because you can have up to 4 Watchstones socketed in a region, up to 8 mods can affect that region,
Oh, you
and some
can't have
quite
rare
large
ones,
bonuses
just
to
blue.
specific content can be stacked. When combined with the Atlas passive trees, these really allow you to optimize what content you encounter and the rewards from that content.
Oh my. Okay. Just a bit helpful,
The
right?
Maven's Orb is an endgame crafting currency item that can only drop from the Maven herself.
Right.
It allows you to craft influence modifiers when 2 or more are present on an item by removing one modifier and upgrading another. When upgrading an influence modifier of the current highest tier, it upgrades to a new elevated tier that can have additional properties.
So much RNG in this.
This foul regalia has 2 Crusader influence
harvest is
modifiers on
back,
it.
though.
The percentage increased intelligence one and the physical damage taken as
You want the
lightning
intelligence
damage one.
obviously, right?
When we apply a Maven's Orb to it, it randomly removes one of these mods and upgrades the other one to become an elevated influence mod.
Ah.
In this case, it upgraded
Oh.
the increased intelligence mod to also have +1 to the level of socketed intelligence gems.
Oh, handy.
The other influence mod was removed.
Yeah.
This opens up a mod slot, of course, so it's now possible to add another mod to it.
That's true.
Let's YOLO exalt it for good measure.
Yeah, true. Yeah, why not, right? I didn't even
Maven's
think
Orb crafting is only going to be performed by the upper echelons of elite players,
Definitely.
and pushes the boundaries of the best items that are possible in Path of Exile. One of the things that players look forward to in an endgame Path of Exile expansion
people
is
can
new
use
maps to
Harvest
play.
and just
In
craft
Echoes of the
them
Atlas,
regulates.
we have added 11 new
What do
types
that?
of maps to the Atlas of Worlds, covering a wide variety of environments.
Crafting's
And of
pretty
course,
insane.
each comes with its own challenging boss fight. Let's have a look at 4 of these new tile sets.
Oh, fun. What are ships doing? Oh. Oh, I like that. That reminds me of the ice boss. The captain. He was really pushing split earlier. Or, I mean, complete area.
One of the reasons why these new maps look so good is that the environment art tile set and level design teams working on them have been doing so much work on Path of Exile 2 recently.
Yeah.
And it's not just the 4 maps that we showed you here. There are 7 other new maps with their own bosses to discover in-game in this
I love
expansion.
that.
Whenever we release a new quarterly Path of Exile update, we start a new challenge league. These are
here it
essentially a fresh server to play on for that expansion launch, where players explore the new league mechanics, rush to conquer the new economy, race to level 100, and try to get the best items before their friends.
Huh?
The challenge league
Like you
being
have one.
released alongside Echoes of the Atlas is the Ritual League. In the Ritual League, you'll discover several mysterious altars in each
have to
area
stop,
you
though.
explore. Slay the monsters at the ritual site and then activate the altar to initiate the ritual. When it begins, you'll be enclosed within the ritual circle and will have to face off against both the onslaught of monsters you've just slain and also the specific powers of that altar.
Oh, dang.
Each subsequent ritual in the area will summon all the monsters from the previous ones, so the difficulty and reward ramp up as you challenge yourself with
Oh.
each successive ritual.
Was multiple in an area?
Monsters
Oh,
you kill after you have activated a ritual grant you points called tribute. At the end of each ritual, you'll have an opportunity to spend this tribute on various reward items. These items vary greatly in power and cost, so you may find you can afford several cheaper ones or one more valuable one.
Oh,
For clarity,
Handy.
tribute doesn't transfer between game areas.
You only spend it when you're there.
As you complete subsequent rituals in the same
have to
area,
stop
more potential rewards will be revealed, which can be very expensive. If you can't afford to purchase a reward outright, you can spend a portion of its cost to defer it until later. This means that it will show up in a later area at a reduced price.
Oh, so you
Items
don't
can be
get
deferred multiple times until you can eventually afford them, and for some of the most valuable rewards in this league, this may be the easiest way to obtain them.
Oh, snap.
You can also spend some tribute to re-roll the contents of the reward screen one time per instance if you'd like a new set of reward items to choose from.
Okay, that's super handy.
Among the many other rewards you can choose from in Ritual are a special new set of Ritual base types. These are craftable items that have different implicit modifiers than Path of Exile's regular base types. Specifically, they have a strong upside combined with an accompanying downside. If you can create a build that mitigates this drawback, then you can take advantage of the power of these items and craft them into something amazing. For example, these Nexus Gloves reduce your maximum mana, but have a chance of immediately refunding the mana spent to use a skill. If you can work around this restriction to your mana pool, you can periodically use skills for essentially no mana cost.
Right, yeah.
Here are two other examples of Ritual base
That's
types.
actually unique.
The
Oh, these aren't
Penitent
unique.
Mask
These
and
are
the
base
Storm Rider
types.
Boots. The
You are
Penitent
crushed.
Mask applies the Crush debuff to you, removing your physical damage protection. However, its upside is that it increases the effect of Fortify
you can
on
have
you by
Fortify,
quite a
but you
lot,
don't have any armor, so
reducing the
that's
damage
fine.
you take from hits. There are many situations where this is a huge win, such as if you already have no armor or endurance charges. The Storm Rider Boots reduce your accuracy rating but provide a huge added lightning damage boost to your attacks based on your accuracy rating. If you have other sources of accuracy to rely on, then this is potentially a huge increase to the lightning damage you deal.
Well, potentially massive.
In the endgame, you can obtain ritual vessels, which allow you to itemize the monsters from a ritual. You can place up to 4 vessels in the map device alongside a map to add the monsters stored in those vessels to the rituals present in the map. This increases both the difficulty and rewards of the rituals, as well as generating even more tribute to spend on those rewards.
Massive tribute, yeah. Just store it up and just get like a million tribute or something in one map down it.
For example, because there's a chance of encountering a Headhunter or Mirror of Calandra as rewards, using ritual vessels increases the chances you'll be offered those items and allows you to afford them. In addition,
Well, you can
use these vessels to substantially increase monster density in maxed out maps that have mechanics like Beyond or Delirium present. Using vessels, you have control over the risk and reward of your hardest ritual encounters.
Indeed.
Vessels are tradable both before and after they contain monsters.
Oh, interesting. We're just doing maps and selling their. Like,
In addition
plus
to the new
100
endgame content in the Ritual Challenge League, a large focus of the Echoes of the Atlas expansion is on its Ascendancy classes.
Let's see it.
Path of Exile has 19 Ascendancy classes, which let you specialize your character further than the base character classes allow.
Please don't nerf anything.
To unlock your Ascendancy class, you must find the Altar of Ascendancy at the end of the Lord's Labyrinth. In this expansion, we've rebalanced every one of these 19 classes and have significantly reworked 3 of them, the Elementalist, the Inquisitor, and the Deadeye.
Oh, okay. That's
The aim
good.
of these changes is to redistribute and simplify power so that Ascendancy passive skills perform stronger single functions more effectively. Let's check some of them out.
Great.
The Elementalist has always been a good general Ascendancy class for many elemental builds, but lacked really in-depth build options. Now you can pick which elemental ailments to use for greater build customization, as well as providing more consistent power against tougher enemies. The Elementalists can also protect themselves from a large amount of elemental damage.
Right. Good. That sounds OP.
Bastion of Elements provides a significant defensive shield against elemental damage, which can be further improved by allocating more skills on your passive tree and Ascendancy tree. The Liege of the Primordial and Elemental skills focus on golem builds. Taking
they're
Liege
actually
of the
resummoned.
Primordial now
That's
means that your
handy.
golems are automatically resummoned 4 seconds after they
I still
die.
have the buff and
To
the
make your
damage.
golems immune to elemental damage, you'll now need to spec into Elementor as well as Liege of the Primordial.
Yeah.
Previously, the Shaper of Desolation skill forced you to improve both Shocking and Chilling, even if you didn't use both. We've now moved these benefits into their own branches, culminating in the Shaper of Flames, Winter, and Storm skills, allowing you to pick which ailments you improve. You can use and enhance Ignite, Chill, and Shock on
that's
any build.
handy.
Mastermind of Discord no longer focuses on heralds and allows you to strip all elemental resistances from your enemies effectively.
Applies an extra.
Pendulum of Destruction has been reworked as Heart of Destruction, providing more elemental damage or area of effect when you need them most.
Convergence gain 30% more elemental damage. Oh,
The
but
Inquisitor
the heralds aren't going to be
derived much
cheaper
of its
anymore.
power from
That's
its
actually important
inevitable
for something.
judgment skill, but the rest of the tree was fairly straightforward and lacked anything truly unique. After our changes in this expansion, many more of the Inquisitor skills provide significantly more offensive or defensive power, while Instruments of Zeal opens up an entirely new and very unique
Kind of
playstyle.
nerfed the herald part of Elementalist though.
Let's have a look at some of the new Inquisitor Ascendancy skills. Pious Path no longer affects attack and cast speed. It now allows you to double the potential recovery of life regeneration by having it apply equally to Energy Shield.
Okay. That's handy.
Sanctuary no longer provides mana, but now has a larger damage bonus from Consecrated Ground, up from 10% to 15%.
Like the flask.
Righteous Providence has been simplified a lot. It still focuses on critical strike chance, but it now scales it up by a percentage equivalent to either your strength or intelligence value, whichever one is lowest.
Oh,
It also provides plus 50 to both of
That could
these
be a lot of
attributes,
crit
which is a
strike
huge benefit in multiple ways. You will definitely want lots of both attributes.
Yeah, sure.
Instruments of Virtue has been simplified and made more powerful. Its
Attack
benefits
damage.
no longer strictly apply if you've cast a spell or attacked recently, but it now grants 10% more attack damage for each non-instant spell you've cast
You can add
recently,
spell
up
damage
to a
equal
maximum of 30%.
Dude, damage of your
It
main
also
hand
grants
weapon?
Battle Mage, which causes you to gain added spell damage equal to
That's
the
so
damage of
much
your main hand
damage.
weapon. This provides a lot of new hybrid
So you
spellcast and melee
Cast a
build
spell and you get
possibilities.
10% more damage.
You can combine Instruments of
That counts
Virtue
with
with the new
echoes.
Instruments of Zeal Ascendancy passive.
So many new
This
things.
introduces the concept of fanaticism, which causes spells you
Oh,
cast yourself to have 75% more cast speed, reduced mana cost, and increased area of effect. Fanaticism is gained by using attacks regularly, giving huge
Gain
bonuses
one-
for
every
weaving
time you
attacking and
attack in the last
spellcasting
second.
together.
What attack would you possibly do between
Historically, the Deadeye Ascendancy was the best place to find a variety of strong projectile-based effects.
interesting combination.
But over time, more of these effects have shown up on items, and the Deadeye has lost much of what made it unique. We've brought the uniqueness back to this Ascendancy with a variety of new mechanics that enable new
They're all
ways to
new.
build and play ranges.
Work
Let's
it.
have a look at the new Deadeye Ascendancy
The
skills.
new unique thing.
Far Shot now deals 60% more damage
That's
to
weird.
enemies far away from you, which is up from 30% before, but now also deals 20% less damage to enemies that are close. It no longer has a projectile speed bonus, but now removes the spread from your barrages.
Okay. So
This
super-
additional damage rewards Deadeyes who can keep their distance from their targets. Previously, Ricochet caused your projectiles to chain an additional time and granted 10% more damage for each remaining chain.
Which is helpful.
The new Ricochet allows your projectiles to both chain an additional time and have a chance to chain off walls and terrain.
Oh!
Endless Munitions has been simplified to offer 2 additional projectiles
Okay, yeah, fair
rather than
enough.
1 additional projectile and some other minor bonuses.
Whoever cares about that.
This skill is accessible behind 3 of the Deadeye's paths, making it an option for many different Deadeye builds. Occupying Force is a new skill that benefits Mirage Archers by granting you additional ones and allowing them to be separate from you.
Can I summon Marches?
Gathering Winds now
the heck?
always grants Tailwind to permanently boost your speed, and the increase to Tailwind effect per skill used is now given by the Gale Force buff. Wind Ward enhances the Gathering Winds passive by making Gale Force a lot more effective, with
That's
the
like
drawback
30%
of
less
losing your
damage
Gale
taken.
Force if you're hit. If you can stay out of the fray, this potentially makes your character even more potent.
Against one shots. Yeah.
The Rupture skill previously helped Critical Strike bleed builds.
Also
It's been renamed to Rupture Ring
Oh,
and
you don't
has
get
been
the life gain
simplified
on
while
hit
being
anymore,
made
though.
more powerful. Critical strikes that inflict bleeding now also inflict Rupture, which causes bleeding enemies to lose more life,
is,
but their
to be
bleed
fair,
expires more quickly.
It is helpful for bleed.
Focal Point is a new skill which improves the effect of mark skills that were made more powerful in our recent heist expansion.
But no one uses.
It increases the effect of your marks by 75% and makes surrounding enemies deal less damage to you. As you have seen,
Man.
the Elementalist, Inquisitor, and Deadeye have undergone some major changes
Bit
in
of a
this
nerf to the
expansion.
life gain on hit.
We have also improved the other
Bleeding.
16 Ascendancy classes and will show you some of the changes to the Slayer to demonstrate what you can expect.
Okay. So it's
Some
blocking.
Slayer effects were much stronger than others, limiting build choice. We've now provided more power spread out over a wider selection of passives, while allowing easier access to the Slayer's special leech mechanic.
Okay.
Brutal Fervor and Endless Hunger have
Oh, thank
switched
goodness.
places on their Ascendancy branch
Back.
so that Life Leech is more accessible and can be further improved by
thank
speccing into Endless Hunger.
Thank goodness.
Masterful Form still causes you to have endurance charges equal to the number of frenzy charges you have, but now grants an additional frenzy charge instead of increasing endurance and frenzy charge duration.
I think that no one cared about duration.
Overwhelm's base critical strike chance for attacks with weapons has been increased.
Buffed? Everyone used that.
Hopefully you now have a good idea of the scope of changes that we have made to the 19 Ascendancy classes. While the biggest changes are to the 3 we're
Well, I
heavily
can't read everything right
revamping, the Elementalist, Inquisitor, and Deadeye, all of the others have received at least numeric attention also.
Yeah. Okay.
We believe that the new design philosophy for Ascendancy passives makes them easier to understand and that they are a more concentrated source of power.
Yeah.
We look forward to revealing the rest of the changes next week.
Being simplified is better, though.
Like with improving Ascendancy classes, adding new skill and support gems to Path of Exile helps create new ways to play. In Echoes of the Atlas, we've introduced 2 new gems that provide versatile ways for you to build powerful new characters. These are the Hydrosphere Skill Gem and the Trinity Support Gem. First, let's have a look at Hydrosphere. The skill summons a huge sphere of water that you can move around to crush enemies. While it is active, you can apply cold or lightning ailments to it. It will then pulse for a duration, afflicting nearby enemies with damage matching that ailment. This player is applying freeze to the Hydrosphere with freezing pulse, and that causes it to repeatedly damage surrounding enemies with cold damage.
Okay, it's weird. Weird skill.
Here's the gem hover for Hydrosphere.
Looks
The
like
skill
melee
gem
spell.
can be acquired from level 34 and can be supported with spell, area of effect, duration, cold, orb, lightning, and physical support gems.
Wow.
It pulses every 0.4 seconds while an ailment is applied to it. It also converts its physical damage to cold or lightning damage based on what elements are on it.
Okay.
The Trinity Support Gem is designed to support builds that deal multiple types of elemental damage. While Trinity
What spell
supports
is
your
that?
skill, any hits that deal damage with a specific element will build resonance with the other 2 elements.
Somebody just knew
The more
concept.
resonance you have of every element, the more damage the Trinity Support Gem provides. When you have high resonance with all 3 elements, Trinity also grants elemental penetration.
Oh.
Here you can see the player using Ball Lightning with Unleash and Magma Orb to build resonance across all 3 elements. To power up the Trinity Support Gem quickly and uniformly, the player alternates between pairs of
anyone really
elemental
gonna do
damage
this?
types. Combined with the Elemental Weakness Curse, the maximum resonance Trinity absolutely decimates enemies.
This could be great in
In addition to
PvP too.
introducing the 2 entirely
We
new
can give
gems
them
we
all 6
described, we've done an extensive balance pass on other skills.
gonna be
We have buffed
absolutely
over
OP in
40
Trinity.
existing gems,
PvP.
including skills such as Scorching Ray, Seismic Trap, Firestorm, Venom Gyre, Static Strike,
Ice Storm?
Kinetic Bolt, Crackling Lance, Lightning Strike, Shrapnel Ballista, and Artillery Ballista. Full details will be available in the patch notes next week so that you can plan your perfect
Well,
build.
yeah. See, that's a lot of changes. We'll do them later, but
As well as introducing and rebalancing skills, another important aspect
It's like
of keeping the
half an hour
metagame
already.
fresh in a Path of Exile expansion is adding new unique items to discover and build characters around.
the long video.
Unlike most items you find in Path of Exile that are randomly generated, unique items are extremely rare ones that our design team have hand-created to offer new build opportunities. Echoes of the Atlas introduces 10 new unique items, some of which are exclusive to its new endgame encounters. Let's have a look at a few.
Okay, what have we got?
These are some unique worm-scale boots called Legacy of Fury. They place scorched ground as you travel, which applies the scorch element to enemies standing in it. When scorched enemies die, they have a chance to set fire to surrounding enemies, dealing a percentage of the slain enemy's life over time. These boots create an interesting and new way to support your build with fire damage.
Okay.
This is a new unique amethyst ring called Black Flame, which is themed around fire and chaos damage.
Purple flames?
Its headline effect is that your ignites now deal chaos damage, along with a cool new chaos ignited effect on monsters. Also, if you ignite a withered enemy while wearing Black Flame, the wither will no longer expire, and you can build up to its maximum of 15 stacks, if the enemy survives long enough, that is.
Oh my goodness, that is.
Along with its various other benefits, this unique ring should ignite a few new ways of playing fire and chaos damage characters.
That's a brand. Interesting. Very
These new Zealot Gloves are called Hand of the Fervent and create an interesting interaction between physical damage and the mana cost of skills. The unique ability of these gloves happens whenever you use a skill. They grant an effect called Sacrificial Zeal, which both adds a quarter of the skill's mana cost as spell physical damage, but also hurts you to the tune of 150% of the skill's mana cost over 4 seconds. They also reduce your enemy's physical damage reduction.
Can that trigger cast when damage taken?
When we have time during an expansion's development, we try to identify past leagues that can be integrated into the core game as optional side content, with a few improvements. This expansion contains 2 such leagues.
Alright, please.
Last year, we released the Harvest League, which allowed you to grow a garden of monsters, fight them, and then use their lifeblood to craft your items in powerful ways. Watching this league unfold made us realize 2 things. Firstly, the crafting options were so powerful and so easily accessible that players had unprecedented access to almost everything they wanted very quickly.
Yes.
Secondly, even the players who did enjoy the mechanics of
And
growing
no
their
other
own
rewards.
garden would probably find it boring if that was something they had to do every single league. When deciding how to integrate Harvest into the core game, we knew that we had to curtail crafting somehow, but we didn't want to just do this by nerfing it a lot. We needed a smarter solution that still allowed players to earn and perform powerful crafts. We also knew that we didn't want
Is it
players
too
to have to
bright
grow
on
and
main
manage
screen?
their own gardens every league.
Right.
So let's check
anyways,
out how
back to
Harvest works as part of the core game in Echoes of the
my
Atlas. In Echoes of the Atlas, as you play through maps, rather than finding a seed cache, you'll now encounter a portal to the Sacred Grove. But it's not your own Sacred Grove, it's an established one that has a full complement of plants ready to harvest, fight, and craft with.
Nice.
The grove contains several pairs of harvests to choose between, each displaying the details of the fight and the corresponding crafting options.
Oh, you can actually see
You can
that's
only
so
pick
dope.
one of each pair, so carefully choose which crafting options are best for you, defeat the
only one.
monsters, and use their
Before
life
you
force to
click the
perform the
button at
crafts.
once. Which was stupid for your FPS. Anyways. Okay, that's very, very interesting.
If you're strong enough to kill the monsters, each grove represents quite a lot of crafting opportunities, and you can save up to 10 crafts for later use at the Hoarder crafting station, which is now available in your hideout.
Great.
We like
People
this
can sell those
compromise
later.
because it keeps the exciting elements of harvest, fighting, and crafting, and drops the part that got old quickly, seed management and garden planning.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Okay.
We're also
Very, very
integrating the Heist League into the
That's how much
core
they
game as
nerfed it,
optional content, with a few improvements. In Heist, players travel to the Rogue Harbor to hire a crew of thieves to help them plan and execute
so much
risky
this week.
heists, working towards a thief's ultimate goal, pulling off a grand heist.
They had to change this.
In the Echoes of the Atlas expansion, heist contracts drop from Act 6 onwards. Rogues level up their skills faster from completing heists, markers drop with higher stack sizes, and quest contracts are now dropped for you at the next smuggler's cache as soon as that quest is available. One great aspect of Heist is that all of its progress items are tradable, so if you're focusing on other content, you can trade away your contracts until you're ready to go on some heists.
Well, yeah, but they just said they
So
just
we've
made the
covered most
progression
of the
a bit
big
faster. You
features of
still have to
Echoes of the
progress
Atlas
every
so
single-
far. Keep an eye out for the patch notes in a few days where we will detail other
Well,
changes that didn't
sounds
make it
like
into
nice
this
changes, though.
presentation.
Fair.
Soon we'll move on to the Q&A about today's announcements. But first, let's have a quick look at the new supporter packs that are available right now to celebrate the Echoes of the Atlas
Well,
expansion and the
Won't worry
Ritual
about
Challenge.
that. You guys can buy them if you want. Yay, I got a drop. Okay, I'm gonna claim that. Just gonna do that. So, yeah, this was super dope. Super dope. I'm excited to listen to the interview later. But it's gonna be a long video, so I'm gonna cut it short now. So many crazy things. They reworked Deadeye of all things, and that looks like an amazing portal effect. Wow, I did not realize. Oh, these are the new league. Oh, okay, not this, but yeah. So that's gonna be great. Harvest changes sound amazing. Very RNG. So keep farming maps till you get something that's like several exalted to sell from the Hoarder crafting station. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed my reactions. I pretty much just stared and was just like, "Wow, this is freaking crazy." Everyone's typing claim here. Am I supposed to do that too? I don't know. I already got my claim. So I think because maybe he said something. It's quiet.
We can't wait.
I'm listening to the Q&A, cut off the video, and I wish everyone here a great day.